Hello, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here. Raleigh to my friends and clients. I'm an astrologer on the Kona coast, and I've been giving you these weekly TV shows now for 1,139 weeks. Never missed one, you know. Haha. Anyway, I figure you're sitting there on the September 27th. I'm back here on September 17th to do the show, and we're going to talk about what's coming up in the sky mirror for the next 10 days for you. Now, generally speaking, you already had a prior full moon, and that guy was at 2 Aries, which means it squared Saturn, and that's no fun. That Saturn, he's the cross of matter over the crescent of people. He's the banker, the CEO, the manager. He cares about money and stuff before people. He puts all the physical things above the needs of the flesh. So he's usually not seen as a very good guy. And you had a new moon, or a full moon, squaring him, so he's very irritating. I just discovered I tried to call a corporation like Spectrum to get some help. I wanted to pay my bill a day late. In order to talk to a real person, they charge you $5. Now this is brand new. I've never seen anything like this. And we saw it again with one of the internet companies, is it Yahoo, trying to fix up a mistake they made. And you can talk to a computer, but if you want to talk to a live person, there's a $5 charge. What the heck? Oh boy. So this is not an easy month. And it's going to be like that until the next full moon. You're going to be upset with Saturn. Some manager, some CEO, some supervisor, some guy sitting at a desk, you know, in a coat and a tie, made a decision for money, and it screwed you, the fleshly person. And that's what happens. That's what's going on now in government, in the land of not my President Trump. Now that sets a scene for a whole month, okay? And that's what you got to know. That started on September 25th. So you got another whole month of that to go. Now there was a prior new moon before that, 2 weeks before that. That new moon happened on September 9th. And that new moon is at 17 Virgo. And it sets the style and the flavor for a month. And it happens that it opposed Neptune. Yeah, for the last 2 weeks you've seen nothing but floods and water and confusion, and you've forgotten things, haven't you? Yes. I mean, I think I'm getting Alzheimer's or something, because I'm forgetting the doggonest things. And spilling things. Well, I can't touch anything liquid without it spilling. Well, that's the new moon squaring Neptune. And you got another couple of weeks to go for that one. It won't stop until October 9th. So you've got 2 influences. One influence is the problem with the old man who, the banker, the Grinch. He's going to get your money. He doesn't care about you. That has to do with a lot of politicians, too. And it goes for a month. And that was actually overlaid with this other month here, which opposed Neptune, the new moon. And you got all these troubles with doctor, priest, artists, musicians, drugs, liquids of all kinds, water and flooding. So it's not an easy month. No, not an easy month, especially when they're overlapping, which is basically the first 2 months, first week in October. And you're in it, aren't you? So I'm not going to pull any punches with you. Just going to tell you where it's at. Still being in the flood zone. Let's see, I got a note. Astrocartography. Floods. Well, here's an astrocartography map. This one says Pluto on the midheaven, Venus. Here's looks like social problems and riots and young ladies being hurt and injured in panic. Police beating up old ladies down on the border in Tijuana. Uh-oh. We also had a bunch of stuff that came up over New Orleans. The new moon, October 8th at 16 Libra. So New Orleans is going to get flooded too. So whole East Coast is being flooded, huh? It's all because of this guy right here. Amazing. Neptune hangs out there all by himself, way out there in space. But all it takes is a new moon, or a full moon, and all of a sudden that's all there is. You're surrounded by water. Well, let's take a look at it day by day. You know, I think that's most helpful. Most people watch this show to see what happens on the sky mirror. And, you know, I do this 10 days purposefully because you can remember it. And, like right away, here's Monday, October 1st, and there's a full moon, and there's Saturn. And the bank, you're not going to like the bankers and the politicians, and everything, you know, gets scrunched. And there's more stop signals and more lines and more rules and more laws, and you're not going to like it. You're going to feel compressed, enclosed, and claustrophobia. Yeah, especially the middle of the day and the last half of Monday. You can pick this stuff out. Here's a flooding thing. Here's Neptune, the new moon that squared it. So you know you're going to have trouble with liquids there. Let's look at it day by day. Okay, if you're in a Thursday show, the moon's in Taurus. We're back here. The moon's squaring, it's opposing Venus. Keep your daughters home. Nobody likes the pretty girls. No, sex and love and all that stuff doesn't feel good. For some reason, Thursday afternoon and evening. Moon in Taurus, too. That's a lusty sign. Friday morning, here's the moon trining Pluto. We all feel kind of powerful. Powerful, but we're overdoing it. Here's a Jupiter opposition. Yeah. On Saturday, September 29th, it's a pretty good day. Here's a trine to Mars. Get physical. Get out and exercise Saturday morning. Fix something. Be a hero. You'll be proud. There's a trine to the sun. Mars is trining the sun. Good time for physical activity. You'll see sports will really gain a big leg up here. And here's Mercury, too. The kids, they're happy. There's a trine to Mercury. That's late. That's 10, 11 o'clock at night. Just before we all spill the water and everybody gets too drunk and the river goes up and there's too much rain. And that all starts Saturday night and goes through Sunday on that nasty, nasty lunation. That new moon at 17 Virgo. Now, that new moon actually hit good angles to Pluto and to Jupiter, so there's wisdom coming out. But, you know, what you really feel is usually the square and flooding. Confusion, delusion, Saturday night, Sunday morning. It'll go pretty much through Sunday. You get to Monday to the middle of the day, the vibes all change because the moon shifts into Cancer. But it shifts over to that other lunation, that nasty full moon squaring Saturn. First, it's an interesting day because if you look, here's Uranus. Here's a sextile to Uranus. It starts you feeling free. I'm free, independent, you know, between breakfast and lunch. Feels pretty good, huh? And then stuff closes in. Here's a full moon. And doggone it, it's squaring Saturn. And as the rest of the day goes on, you're stuck with time. Not enough time, not enough money, too much to do, too many lines, too many signs. You're closed in, you're claustrophobic. You're hating it. This is a sad day. I have a poem about Saturn. A feeling of sadness and longing that's not akin to pain and resembles sorrow only as the mist resembles the rain. Now that's light Saturn. When you get hard Saturn like this with a full moon squaring it, what you get is people die by crushing and freezing, and there can be a lot of death around. And so this is not a happy day, Monday. Had to tell you the truth, that's my job. Monday night, well, you get to about 2 o'clock in the morning. Here's a trine to Venus. And there's a little relaxation, a little good love around. But the sun, the moon's squaring the sun, and your ambition's gone, and your energy is gone. Midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Tuesday morning, well, the moon in Cancer makes a nice trine to Neptune. Here's some church music. Here's some inspiration Tuesday morning. But don't be thrown off guard, because look at what's next. Yep. Eek, a bug. Panic, panic. It's Pluto. Pluto is acting up. Yes. And as I recall, he stopped on the 1st. He just went stationary. So there's going to be a lot of panicky stuff here. Guns, bugs, sharks. Eek, a bug. Little things will panic you. You'll see. Tuesday afternoon and evening. Even the kids, they're square to Mercury, they'll get caught up in it. And they'll be panicky too. I think even my cat got panicky the other day on this. Panicky Tuesday. Wednesday in the morning, the moon's still in Cancer. You're feeling a little weird and panicky. Still. But stuff doesn't really hit until the moon shifts into Leo. And that's where the square to Uranus is. Now you got glitches in electronics. You feel all alone. Yep. There's an opposition to Mars. Here's sudden temper tantrums, sudden fights, sudden hots. The electricity failed and it burnt out. This is sudden weird stuff. People take care of each other. Here's the North Node just after lunch. That's nice. As you go through the day, Wednesday though, it's increasingly difficult till you get to the square to Venus. That's about midnight. And you get so tired. Oh, I can't go on. I'm so tired. And then there's a sextile to the sun. 2, 3 in the morning, Thursday, you get some ambition back. The moon's in Leo. Go for it. Get something done on Thursday, the 4th. So if you got ambition on the 14th, go for it. You might tend to overdo it. Here Friday morning, the moon's still in Leo, and it squares Jupiter, and we tend to overdo everything. Right through to the middle of Friday. In the middle of Friday, the moon shifts into Virgo. All the vibes change again. And doggone, here's a trine to Saturn. Maybe we can get along with the rules and regulations. Maybe it's okay that the corporations charge us $5 to talk to a real person on the phone, and the banks charge us $28 overdraft fee because your check got returned for lack of $2. I can remember when banks used to just return your check. They'd call you up and say, oh, you didn't have enough money for this check. You could take money down to the bank, put a little more money in there, they send the check back. There was no fee. They weren't making money off of your mistake. Now the bank feeds off the poor people. Saturn is making money off overdraft fees. If you were to look at their books, they're not loaning money out. They're not making money like banks are supposed to by helping people. No, they're ripping off the poorest segment of society for overdraft fees. Hard to take much liking to Saturn. You'll see Friday night. Saturday, still not happy with Saturn. The moon's in Virgo. And you're coming up to the flood zone again. There it is, Saturday in the middle of the day in the afternoon. There's that new moon, and he was squaring Neptune. And Saturday is going to be a wet day, and there's going to be flooding. Yes. I'm not going to go into where exactly. It's just too much work for me right now. There is a nice trine to Pluto. We get recovery here. Here's some emergency people come out Saturday night, and they do good things. Figure it out. So these are probably the firemen. The firemen are the best of your emergency people. If you have trouble of any kind, somebody's lying down there and they're hurt, you know, you call 911. So say, you want the ambulance, the police, or the firemen? Always ask for the firemen. They'll get there first. They all know CPR. They're great. They can do stuff that all the others can do and more. No policeman's going to give you CPR, no. He's afraid of your blood. He's afraid you're carrying AIDS or hepatitis, or he's afraid they'll take a picture of him and charge him with assault. It's nothing like that with a fireman. Don't worry. Call the fire department, 911, for everything. Sunday, the moon's still in Virgo. I learned that lesson the hard way after 20 years working in safety. Anyway, the moon's in Virgo Sunday. You settle down a little bit after you got some control Saturday night. But it's closing in again. Here's that nasty Saturn square. Happens late Sunday night. As soon as the moon shifts into Libra, squares Saturn in Capricorn, hits that full moon. Eek, depression, not enough. Trouble, trouble everywhere. Well, it's not a really happy sky mirror this month. Wish I could tell you more. Here's Venus. You know, she's slowing down to stop at 10 Scorpio. And she ought to be happy. She's trining Neptune. Somebody gave her a beer. But she's squaring Mars. And Mars is angry. And Romeo won't let her alone. He's being abusive. So even Venus is having a tough time. And I'm having a tough time too. Okay, for those of you that are my friends, see this Saturn? This Saturn is at 3 degrees of Capricorn. Now, if you looked at my chart, I'm Taurus rising. The ruler of my body, my rising sign, is Taurus. That's Venus. And my Venus is at 3 degrees of Capricorn. Saturn stopped there, and I have had nothing but physical debilitating crap, and nothing but pains. I tore muscles in my back, and had a low back and a mid back, and a hurting ear, and wow, and I can't sleep. And I could give you a list, and I'm broke as can be, which brings me to this. Saturn only goes around here every 28 years. So I only hit this low every 28 years. It's the same for you. When Saturn goes by the ruler of your rising sign, you're going to feel 90 years old and broke. So that's the way it is kind of right now for me. Which brings me to something I've never done before. And here it is. How about a donation? A lot of you folks you're used to astrology. You don't really need a chart reading. I mean, chart readings are falling off. I used to make decent money doing readings for people. And I don't mean bullshit stuff about your personality. No. I mean real stuff like what's next month, how's your job go up and down, and when should you go on vacation, and what. I do nuts and bolts stuff, and the people that I've done work for know that, and they come back. But something's happened. You know, science and astrology are the same, and science is not in. The Republicans are in. Religion's in. I had a horrible thing happen the other day. A young gal called me up. An old client said, "You should have your chart done by Rollin Frost there. It'd be really helpful to you. And she asked her friends, and everybody kind of laughed. Astrology, ho, ho, ho. What's that? Yes, that's silly, you know. Well, to me, when she reported back to me what all her young friends had said, it broke my heart. Here I am doing this for 20 years on TV, and I'm losing the battle. Less and less people want their real chart known or any of the intricacies in their hands are willing to pay me to do that. Like Ben Franklin said, shame to the age we live in. Shame. Well, that's what I got to say too. So I'm at a low point, and so I'm going to do something I never do, and that is I'm going to ask you for a donation. Now it's a very weird thing. Out of the clear blue, when I was worried my cat had disappeared and I went broke and I had a lot of pain, this showed up in the mail with $100 in it from Terry. And she said, I don't need chart work. I know you're having a tough time. I'm just trying to help you. And she did. That $100 made such a difference, Terry. You are an angel. An angel. I don't know how you figured it out, but you sent me that 100 just at the right time of day, right time of month, right time of year, right time in 29 years. But you did. So you got to be an angel. And I can't thank you enough. And I realized that people out there might want to help me, but, you know, I just keep saying, oh, you want to have your chart done? Because I'm a working man. I'm a working stiff. I like to earn my money. But, you know, at this point, I realized every preacher on TV asks for donations. All of the environmental, I'm getting 5 emails a day from environmental stuff. Donate to our cause. So here it is. Please donate. I need donations. You want to keep the program afloat? You want to keep your astrologer afloat? You know, send it. Send something to Rollin Frost. The address is 77-6473 Princess Ke'ilikolani Drive. That's named after Princess Ruth Ke'ilikolani, who provided the money for Bernice, who married Bishop and became the Bishop estate. Princess Ruth saved all that money for the kids. It all went into the hands of Saturn. So just write it down on an envelope, 77-6473 Princess Ke'ilikolani Drive, Kona, Hawaii 96740. Slip a little check in there, make it out to Rollin Frost. Because I'll be truthful. If situation continues like it is now, I don't know how long I'm going to last at this. I don't know how long. Your program might disappear. And you can look around the internet all you want. There's no other astrologer like me. I am a master, born the same day as Ben Franklin, Muhammad Ali, a lot of us. And I've been donating to you for 30 years on this show. So donate to me. Okay? There's the address. Put a check in the envelope, Rollin Frost, 77-6473, Princess Ke'ilikolani, Kona, Hawaii, 96740. And you may be one of the angels that helps keep me afloat, like Vicky. Bless her heart. I'm going to say some prayers for her. Another lady was Vicky. Vicky sent me a little donation. But Terry, You are an angel. And I'm not fooling. I'm going to do some prayers for you. I sound like a preacher, huh? Send me money and I will do prayers and heal your health problems. I wish I could. But all those people asking for donations basically don't give a hoot for an astrologer who's trying to maintain an ancient science and an ancient religion through a dark period. A dark, dark period with generations of people who aren't even open to something new. Shame to the age we live in, said Ben Franklin. Shame. They only use astrology for cutting corn or gilding pigs. It used to be any war, any giant undertaking by the great people, they consulted an astrologer to check and find the lucky hour. I do that work. The lucky time for surgery, the lucky time for marriage, the lucky time for starting things. But in this case, folks, just send me something. Donate. She did. Bless her heart. And if some of the rest of you would, maybe I'll survive this dreadful Saturn transit. Hey, if Vicky and Terry can send me a little extra and donate to keep this show floating, you can. These are not rich ladies. These are ladies full of heart. Yes, angels. It's funny, the young lady who broke my heart, my friends laughed at astrology. You know why? I had to answer her. It was ruined by people doing sun sign astrology. Evangeline Adams and all the books. You all think you're your sun sign. No. Sun is just a character. You got it from your father. You are your rising sign. Find the date of your birth, the time of your birth. Call me up, 322-3584 in Kona. Just call me on the phone. I'll put it in the computer, calculate your rising sign. Your rising sign is who you are, not your sun sign. That's ruined astrology in America. The other thing that's ruined astrology is all this emphasis on people. Am I compatible with somebody compatible? Astrology is not about just people. No. Astrology does a lot of things. It's a lot of things. But all this emphasis from the ladies. Maybe I'm going to blame the ladies for ruining astrology with sun sign stuff and emphasis on personality